life these days. Either you can't find somewhere to rent or you can't find somewhere to buy that's either suitable and or within your budget. And that's if you can get a mortgage in the first place. And actually being in the throes of buying or selling a property brings a whole other set of stresses. The worry of that sale being stymied for one reason or another. Either you'll be, gazumped in the sale, or there'll be phantom bids or all that kind of thing, right up to the minute when you finally get those keys in your hand. The property market's a mess. So how does it operate, and does that need a bit of an overhaul? Regina Mangan has over 20 years experience in the property market and is the managing director of Liberty Blue Estate Agents. Regina, good morning.
Good morning, Maria.
The state of the property market, what has gone wrong with it in your opinion?
It's a very difficult time for buyers, no doubt about it, because there are way more buyers on the market than there are properties. I think the legislation definitely needs modernising, and very quickly. For example, the whole conveyancing law, people can put properties on the market without having a clean title. What does that mean? That means that somebody could be selling a property and the boundaries aren't actually accurate. They don't match what's with the what's recorded. You have in Ireland, lots of people did extensions that didn't get any planning permission, septic tanks without planning, just a whole range and host of issues, porches added on without planning. So it goes on and on and on. And there is a bill with the Dáil at the moment, the seller's pack. And that really is about making sure that people cannot go on the market unless the title is clean and the property is good to sell, and that there are deeds. I mean, we've had a number of clients over the years where the banks had lost the deeds, and therefore you're talking a very, very long time to source those deeds. They're not, many of them aren't even digitalized, so they need to hurry it up and get that right.
Is this something that will, by definition, have to take ages to regulate and to sort out?
Look, it's ongoing. All these roadblocks exasperate the housing market. I can think of a number of properties that we sale agreed, and then we ran into planning issues that we weren't made aware of. Obviously, we do our due diligence, but there was a couple of surprises that we didn't anticipate that were shown by the engineer's reports. So that means they could drag on for like 6 and 12 months, and the whole probate thing drags on as well. And there are roadblocks for people actually moving into properties. We even had a property for sale that was empty for 10 years, back on the market in Tramore, and it took the ESB 6 months to connect to electricity. I mean, what's that about?
There's nothing I can say to that, because there's no argument you can make for that. Like, connect a house, how hard was it? It was connected once upon a time. It can't be that difficult to connect it.
And the slowness in utilities is a big impediment to getting new homes on the market. Irish Water and electricity. These are real roadblocks that slow everything up.
And those extensions and porches that you talked about, I'm sure when people built them, they thought, I should be grand. I'm going to be here. But then if you end up having to sell your house, the person who's buying that house wants every box ticked, every T crossed and every I dotted.
They do, and most solicitors won't let their clients buy unless it's a very small defect. But it's complicated. Most people want the title to be right before they purchase a property. In fairness, it's the biggest purchase of our lives.
If we're lucky enough to get to make it. Let's talk a little bit about things that we hear about in the property market, like gazumping. That's an awful thing, I think, to happen to anybody.
It's horrible. And can I just say, as an estate agent in business 28 years, we hate it. I was on holidays. I still remember exactly staying in a hotel with my mum, my elderly aunt, my boy, and I had sale agreed this house, and the buyer was fabulous. The seller was thrilled. Everything was tickety-boo. Next thing, an email comes in from a solicitor representing an American buyer, and they want me to put forward a bid, and it was 10,000 over what we had sale agreed. So for the listeners to understand that auctioneers work for their client, and the client is the person that they sign the contract, which is called a property services agreement, and that's the client who pays you. You are obliged by law, and it's very clearly written into the law that we must inform our client. And I had to inform my client, but I nearly got sick. I mean, my holiday was ruined because can you imagine? We love a happy ending and have to go back and tell the other bidder who we'd gone sale agreed with that we now had an offer. And that's gazumping. I had to tell my client. And remember, when we sell our homes, it's the only tax-free asset we have. So you go out to work and you earn, 50,000. A cup of coffee technically costs double because you've got to earn double to pay for it for a lot of people. So 10,000 is tax-free income. And needless to say, our seller accepted that bid, and I had to go back, refund the deposit, and breathe that terrible news.
Dreams, like just shattered.
It was horrendous. It was horrendous for them, and it's just not good. But you see, the whole conveyancing law is subject to contract denied. So that means that if you pay a deposit on a property, it is subject to contract denied. And what that means is that until contracts are signed by both parties, any party can pull out without recourse.
And should we not do away with sale agreed or something? Because sale agreed would bring a certain measure of comfort to you. If you were going to buy a house and you think, okay, we got to sale agreed, and then somebody comes along and offers more money.
Well, we would
welcome. That means nothing.
We would welcome that. I mean, the Australian system is incredibly efficient, but you've got to start at the beginning. We need solicitors using modern technology. We need conveyancing law modernised, whereby people can't put a property on the market unless they have the title deeds with their solicitor, that they have clean title, and that and there's an engineer's report done that everything is good to go. And then the buyers come in, they agree the price, and bang.
So you do all that on your own time, not on my time, not you personally.
That should be done in advance. Absolutely, completely, definitely. But so we hate gazumping. It's terrible.
Something else we hear about, and this is like phantom bidding. Is that a thing?
I don't believe it. And if any buyer out there feels that there's phantom bidding going on, first of all, they should ask the estate agent for records, for the other bids. We are heavily regulated.
Right to do that?
Absolutely, you do. Now, they'd have to hide the name of the person for GDPR reasons, but absolutely. We are probably one of the best regulated countries in terms of legislation for estate agents, and it's really good. In the UK, and I'm a member of a couple of mastermind groups, anybody can become an estate agent. They don't need a license, and they're not regulated. We've got to go to college for 2 years. You have to pass exams, and then we're heavily regulated. There is very, very precise legislation around this. We tend to use, for the majority of our sales, an online bidding platform. And so people can see the bids. The people's data is obviously confidential. We know who they are. We approve them before they bid. And anybody who's worried that if there's a bid that they don't trust, ask the auctioneer. You're entitled to 100%. And I think there'll be no issue showing it. We'd like to see more trust in the industry.
And is there any kind of unscrupulous way whereby, just say I knew an auctioneer or something and said, Maria, I'm going to pretend that you're putting in a bid for this house now. So I've no intention of buying the house, but I am a human person on this display that you're talking about, and the other people go, we might lose the house, we're only looking for another 1,000.
I don't know any auctioneer who would be stupid enough to do that, because one, we are audited by the regulator. You have to have, proof of funds from a person bidding. You can't just take a bid off a randomer who doesn't have the funds. I mean, sometimes we do have people trying to bid who don't have, when you add A plus B plus C, it doesn't equal the price of the house. So we can't accept them. I just would doubt that. I couldn't see it happening. And if somebody ever found that out, they would need to report them to the property regulator, no doubt about it.
I think is it the Scottish system that have the sealed bids? There's no I don't think there's even a price on a house, and it's whatever someone's prepared to offer for it.
So when certain people started talking about this in the media recently, I did my own research and I rang a really prominent estate agent in in Scotland, and he's won loads of awards. Brilliant business guy. And he discussed the whole seal bids. Only 20% of sales in Scotland are going through seal bids process. But to be really,
I thought it was all of them.
No, only 20%. And let's be absolutely clear, it's not legally binding. So if somebody is bidding on a property and the estate agent, in conjunction with the instruction from the seller, because the seller is the boss, says, right, we've been doing this now, we've been getting bids in for 2 weeks, let's go seal bids. Can you imagine if you were a bidder and you thought, God, if you found out when you looked at the register that if you'd just bid another 500, you could have bought it. Mm. Or for the buyer, they find out maybe they bid too much. They don't know.
Yeah.
But there is no legal criteria for them to accept the highest bid. So the seals bids, there's no guarantee for a bidder. In fact, what he told me was that sometimes they don't take the highest bid. They take the one maybe below it or in the middle, because the buyer is more secure. They can buy quicker because they have cash in the bank, or they've sale agreed their property, or they've sold it. So it isn't as good as it cracks up to be.
And do owners here have the right to do that? Suppose I met you, I like you, we get on well together, you make me an offer. It's not as much as somebody else, but I want you to have my house. Do I have the right to go, yeah, I know you offered more?
100%. You are the seller. You own the house. You have the right to sell the house to anybody you want. We've had instructions like that. We often have, like, you know, we had a sale recently where a family wanted to buy a property, and, you know, our job is to tell the story. It's not just about the price to the seller. We look, they're a family and they've got 3 kids and the kids are going to school in such a location. And I had it where I had a German family who wanted to buy a property. And I said, you know, maybe we could sell to the local family. And the German family were going to pay a bit more. Now, it's my job to tell my client that, of course. But my client was delighted to sell to the family. And we had that recently again. Another family, their daughter was in the States and it was for years to come. And our client accepted the lower offer. So yes, that goes on quite a bit. And often people say we don't want to sell to an investor. We don't have so many investors anymore. We want to sell to a family.
It's such a stressful time, isn't it? From the start to the finish, trying to find somewhere, trying to get the money to bid for it, trying to then outlast that system that takes so long before you get those keys in your hand. It's such a stressful time.
It is. For any buyers listening, I would say just get organised. If you are a buyer that presents yourself to the agent and the agent presents you to the owner, and you've got your engineer sorted, you have your solicitor, you're super efficient with the communication. Like sometimes buyers maybe wait ages before they send information, you know, or they just may not come across as overly reliable. And at the end of the day, well, we understand why people are desperate, but if they're not reliable and they don't show up or they don't have the information, they may not come across as the buyer that'll go the distance.
Yeah.
You know,
so get all your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
From both sides. If you're selling your house, get everything that that everything in the house is kosher. And if you're buying a house, do the same thing from your end so that everybody can get this done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's a difficult time. I especially feel sorry for people in their autumn years who want to maybe downsize or move to a single story house. Because 48% of people who want to buy have to actually sell a property. So it's very difficult for older people to navigate that journey. I'm talking about the people who want to, not people.
Nobody's making any.
No, people who want to. I mean, my parents were relocating from Noel Farmers in County Limerick, and like the house needed loads of work and they didn't have the money to do it, and they weren't able to do that. But I got a mortgage, bought the property, and they paid me back when we sold the old farmhouse. So it's very tricky to navigate, but it can be done if you get good advice.
we really need to update the entire system and make it more flowing and seamless so that it benefits everybody.
Efficient. So I'd be looking more at the Australian model than the Scottish model, and the seal bids is not as it's cracked up to be. And I don't believe in the phantom bids. And yes, gazumping is horrible. And as estate agents, it's not good for anybody.
Regina, thanks for talking to me.
Irv Mila Maggots.